Good morning, my dear students, and welcome to RPS Group of Schools for online classes of general knowledge. Today, we are going to study about how clocks were invented. Thousands of years ago, people did not feel the need to worry about time. They woke up when the sun rose and went to bed when the sun set. But today, keeping to time is so important that clock seems to rule our lives. Have a look at this picture. This is a sundial. This was the first clock. The Egyptian built the sundial around 3500 BCE, which was more accurate shadow clock. It is a sundial. The shadow moves as the sun moves across the sky, like the hand of the clock. Here I am explaining you that the pole in the center casts a shadow on the ground and we can find the time. The next clock that we are going to deal today is water clock. Around 1550 BCE, the Egyptian used water clock. In a water clock, a certain amount of water drips into a certain container that gives an idea of the time passed. The ancient Greek and Roman astronomers tried to make more complicated and fancier clocks. Some water clocks had door and windows which opened to reveal little figures, while others rang bell and gongs. One of the most elaborate clock tower was developed by the astronomer Su Suang in China in 1088 CE. Here is the pic of this tower. Now we are moving to the next clock. That is hourglass. An hourglass was used to measure short time interval. It comprised of two glass bulbs placed one on top of another, connecting through narrow tube. It measured the time taken by water, sand, and mercury to run from upper compartment into lower compartment. Then, toward the mid 13th century, the mechanical clock was developed. However, it was extremely inaccurate by as much as 2 hours a day. In 1510, the spring powder clock was invented by Peter Henlein. It could easily be fitted on the mantel or shelf, which made it popular among the rich. This was all about the old clocks. Now, after that, a scientific invention broke up. The major scientific breakthrough that leads to development of an accurate clock occurred in 1583 when Galileo Galilei demonstrated that successive beats of a pendulum always take place in the same length of time, irrespective of the distance through which the pendulum swings. Here is the picture of the great scientist Galileo Galilei. He introduced pendulum. After the discovery of pendulum, it took 70 years for a Dutch astronomer, Christian Huygens, to design the first pendulum clock. By 1675, a minute hand was added to the hour hand, and later the pendulum clocks had a second hand. Now we have more developed clocks that are quartz clocks. Domestic electric clocks became hugely popular by that time. The quartz clock was invented in the 1920s. Inside a quartz clock, there is a tiny crystal of quashed, which controls the speed of the clock and makes it run accurately. Some electrical clocks have a digital display where the hour, minute, and seconds are shown as numbers. The Sinclair company produced the first digital clock. Now, more developed clocks have arrived. Those are called as atomic clocks. The most accurate clocks in the world, the atomic clocks, were first built in the mid 90s. The NIST F1, a cesium atomic clock at the National Institute of Standards and Technology, NIST, in Boulder, Colorado, USA, is said to be one of the most accurate clock in the world. It is expected to keep time till 30 billionth of a second per year. This clock is sometimes called fountain clock because it uses a fountain like movement of an atom to work. Now it's a quiz time. I'm going to ask the question, you have to guess the answer. The first question, at Jantar Mantar of which city of India would you find the largest stone sundial in the world? Guess the answer. It's Jaipur. Question number 2. Where will you find a large clock with a bell called Big Ben? Guess the answer. The answer is London. Now, question number 3. The local time at Royal Observatory is taken to be the internationally accepted universal time. Where in England is it located? Greenwich is the correct answer. Now, the last question. How many time zones are there in Russia? The answer to the question is 11. Thank you.